Back on the Lancia Zagato for this episode, and I haven't had a lot of video content, but the car has been moving forward. So the front and rear has been welded back on this car, and the edge is turned, ready to do some doors and properly fit the doors to this opening. Now there's an acid that is on the outside of the body that I need to clean up, and that was acided because the insides, before I put everything back on, has been sound det and painted and acid washed. So the acid wash is put down first to kill off any rust that could be there, and then that's all cleaned off, and then it's painted and sound det, and so the car's going to be really quiet when it goes down the road with the sound deadening in it, and then the paint is going to be a future rust prevention. So it's important to paint things before it all goes back on. But in this episode, we're going to get into the door skins. So the door skin is damaged all the way through. It's actually got a lot of dents in it, and it's actually a very simple and pretty easy door skin to do. There's no crazy body lines or anything like that in this. It's a fold here and a fold here, a little bit of shape put through it and some edges turned. So this would be a nice little door skin to make, pretty simple. And the door skins, as well as the damage and all the dents that's through it, they are aluminium door skins, so we're going to be doing some alley stuff. And there's a lot of corrosion going on all through here in the bottom of the doors, and that's another important thing why it's important to paint your car. So if you have aluminium on top of the bare steel, then you're going to get a corrosion point there, and it's like an electrolysis thing going on, which is basically rusting out your aluminium. So these skins aren't going to last very long, so I will be making some skins for this, doing a bit of paint prep on the inside, and then putting the brand new skins on. First thing I'll do with this, make a bit of a pattern. So I've got the shape on here, cut some blanks out. My pattern paper's not wide enough, so I'll probably double the paper up, and then I'll be able to have something that's wide enough for making a little template on here. Template this up, do a few sweeps of what the curvature needs to be in this door skin, and then start wheeling it up. So we'll get into it. Both the blanks are cut for both doors now, so door skins are ready to roll. Now, the line that goes through here is that fold line that is sort of halfway in the door, and the top bit does have more shape than the bottom half. So on my template, I have made a bit of a curvature for the top half and another curvature for the bottom half, so I can test both when I wheel it. So I have picked the best bit that's sort of least amount of damage on the bottom and top here for the template. So I can do that, and that line is this line here that's through the middle. Gonna put it in the wheel, add a little bit of shape to it, and then chuck that fold in, and another little fold that's in the top. And what I've done with the template, basically the template is a little bit of a guide for the actual door skin outside shape, and then I've added material for the flanges to be turned, and then I've also marked out in the template here where the door handle goes. So I can lay this template on there and then mark out where the door handle holes have got to go, and then we're ready to roll. I've gone and given this a little bit of a tweak just up in the top half here on the gas bottle, just to add that little bit of shape, because there is quite a bit of shape in that top half. So I've bent that around just a bit more. And then the biggest thing you want, especially if you're wheeling something like this, ideally do it with someone else. So you got two people on the wheel, but if you're wheeling on your own, you want to get your stance right. So you don't want to be stepping while you're wheeling it, or where you step, you'll end up with like a shallow in that panel. So if you can, get your stance right and just go through in one nice smooth motion and keep that panel as straight as possible. So chuck that in, get your stance right, and just go through in one nice motion, and keep your tracking as tight as you can, just to keep that panel nice and smooth. And I've even gone ahead and polished up my wheels here as well, because while you're wheeling, on aluminium especially, it'll dull that sheet a bit. So I've gone and polished up my wheels just to keep it nice and shiny after it's done. But that's pretty much what you want to do when you're wheeling on your own, and just keep that sheet as nice and straight as you can and keep that stance right. Both of these skins are wheeled up now, and that was a bit of a workout doing that on my own. But got that nice little bit of extra shape up in the top, nice shape down in the bottom fitting to the template. So now I just need to set the angle that I need for the body line. So there's going to be a body line up in here, which I'll be able to do on the folder, because it's nothing, no real crazy shape or anything going on in here. So it's just pretty much a basic fold. So going to put the body line in here, and then there's a fold up at the top going the other way. So we'll do those folds in there, and then we can start fitting it to the car, doing some gapping, and then marking out these edges and turning some edges into the opening up in here in the car. So head over to the folder, put some more stuff in here, and then get this a little closer to the shape that it needs to be, so I can put it on there and do all the gapping. I have already gapped this door all the way around and turned the edges on this side, but I thought I'd grab the other door skin and explain before I get into the footage of it. But the body line's already in through here, and then the body line in here as well, where it turns back up into the pillars in here. So with this panel, I'll grab the other door skin, and with this panel, I would lay it on the car and have this body line in line with the body line at the front and rear. And then I've got a set of dividers here, these ones where one side is shorter than the other, odd leg dividers, and I'll put that on the edge and mark, say, 15 mil. I would mark that all the way through onto the body, and then when I lay that skin on there, I can mark back from that 15 mil. I know it's 15 to the edge, and then I want a 4 mil gap, so I'll go the 15 mil plus 4, so I'll go 19 mil, and then when I've got that skin on there, I'll mark the 19 mil all the way through, and then I can lay some tape out onto the door skin, cut the excess material off, and then off that edge, I can mark back with another set of dividers on the back side, and then get my fold line. So I do have in that other video with the alignment panel gapping, you can check that out and I'll go into more detail with that. But we'll get into the footage and show you how I gap this anyway and keep going on these skins. the door skin is basically done. So a lot of the main shaping's done. There's still a few more things I need to do, but I have turned all the edges, bottom edge, side edges. I've trimmed it. So I trimmed the top edge, trimmed the bottom and the sides as well. And then I put the door back onto the car to mark out my bottom fold here. So I'll put a ruler that went along the bottom of the rear quarter and the bottom of the front guard because they're in a fixed position. And then marked out where that fold needs to go and had this body line lined up all the way through where the skin needs to be on the door. Mark that out and it's gapped, it's looking pretty good. And I can go back to the paper pattern now. So I can go back to the paper pattern, lay that on, and then with my scriber, scribe through the paper and put those marks into the door skin here so I can transfer where those holes need to be. There's like a little hole here and a kind of triangular shape sort of thing. So I've got to cut those holes out in here for the door handle, have that sitting. And another thing I'll add too, aluminium scratches really easy. So that's the reason why I put rubber mats down on the table while I'm working with aluminium. I would generally just have the steel table here, but this stuff scratches really easy. And the rubber mats, they're just a cheap thing from Bunnings. I think they're like a little gym mat and they work wonders for not scratching up your panels real bad. So that's a thought to keep in mind as well if you're working with aluminium. So we'll do those last touches in there and this thing will be done. Tony's been working away in the background, sanding up his Lancia, making the body a lot more shiny and cleaning off that acid that was on there. It has had Easy Foss put on the top. Now it's getting a bit closer to painting. Instead of putting oil on there, put a bit of Easy Foss on there and that'll help with the paint preparation as well. So these are the door skins, both sides, left hand and right hand, and they're quite easy, basic little door skin. There's not a lot of shape in them, and then no crazy body lines or anything. So this is quite an easy door skin to make. As long as you're doing your gapping right, they're gonna be pretty simple. So showed you a few little tips on how I do the gapping. I do have another video on more detail in how I do that gapping. And I do have a video doing another door skin too, which has got a bit more detail in it. So if you head over and watch that one, you'll get a little bit more out of that one as well. But for this basic little door skin, this is it. And nice fresh doors on the Lancia. It's going to look great. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode and tune in on the next one. Cheers guys.